Hello and welcome to episode 56 of my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Now, we've just basically fully cleared Lake Silverstep Village here, and we're just about to complete a final quest here. We're going to track down Ivar, which is, where are we? The Lonely Hunter here. And I didn't mention this in the previous two videos, but the number one reason why you want to complete this quest is that there are two prerequisites for seizing this area to your barony, Silverstep. And the first one is claiming Camel Lands here, which you might see makes sense because that's directly to the west. But the second one is completing this quest, the Lonely Hunter, and it doesn't indicate that that's what you need to do to claim the region. I don't think anywhere. You just need to have wrapped up Lake Silverstep Village here. Anyway, we're just going to head into Silverstep Grove as we've tracked down Ivar, and we'll get a bit of resolution to the story of the Silver Dragon and the mystery of the changing footprints and everything. Now,
the dangers don't frighten me.
There are some relatively complicated fights here, but they hinge on something a bit cheap. As in, you see some enemies over here, you go to attack them, and then some enemies over here come and get you. So,
friendship lasts forever.
What we're going to do is we're just going to make sure we're fully prepared for this.
Yes, I'm still here.
So, any brilliant ideas?
Adventures are exciting.
With our usual suite of buffs, there should be nothing surprising there.
A sweet smile, a gentle voice.
That's basically stacking Kitty AC up as high as possible.
Sharp nails instead.
And apart from that, we're just going to leverage a haste. I think it's not a particularly difficult fight, but what we need to do is we're just going to go Cat over there, and we're going to bring Valerie and Harem here.
My skills.
There.
What troubles you?
There, and we'll do some fascination. So this up here is an alpha wolf and a couple of others.
Anything is possible.
There we go.
Is there trouble?
So you can see dire wolf there.
I am yours to
Just get a
command.
little bit closer.
A simple smile goes a long way.
So we can hit them with a confusion.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
And they are both confused. One is attacking the other, and one is attacking Valerie. So we'll just pull back, and we'll fascinate. So this, so alpha wolf and dire wolf, and this is an alpha walk. So this is a much harder enemy here. 7 and 4 compared to 7 and 5. So it feels a little bit cheap, but it's nice to have things surprise you like that.
A clever ploy.
This will hurt. Stand down.
Alpha wolf and a dire wolf. So same group, but with that extra alpha warg. And that fascinate is super effective. So let's take down. Ooh, nice change in target. Well.
Ha! Primitives.
We might benefit from slowing the whole lot, since poor old Lindsay is about to get hit quite painfully.
Repent.
So it's slowed. So at least this isn't going to do too much damage to her, because this animal here is going to hit quite hard.
You should have run.
Will they ever learn?
We might be able to get a trip in there. Yeah, so 22 damage. One down. I think what we'll do is we'll bring Harem in. We'll leave Valerie there. And there's not much else we can do at this point, apart from just sort of hack it down. You were going to cast that, Lindsay, if you haven't been tripped. Yeah, she's going to die. Or not. Okay. Now you've got mirror image up. She can retreat. It'll change target.
What a
We got
waste.
enemies moving. You want to move back, Lindsay. There we go.
Strike!
And see what we can do.
A fine use of my
And we can
talents.
end the use of bomb. So interesting. I mean, that was pretty close there. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the best play, but the I think it demonstrates that certainly later on, when I'm not trying to conserve my
You out of our story.
spells so much, having mirror image up on anyone who might be attacked like that is, I guess, more optimal.
A clever ploy.
Because that mirror image allows you to just escape, and unfortunately Lindsay had to cast that in combat, which is never a very nice thing to have to do, because you're casting defensively, you're risking attacks opportunity, you're risking just being tripped up as we saw there,
And Lindsay was
and getting critted. However, of course, at this level, so level 8.
just letting the
Even Lindsay has a modest health pool which she can fall back on to while we try and sort out the issues. Now, if we just come up here,
I'll share my path.
we've got the resolution of the whole thing. We can see Ivar there. We can see one Alpha Warg, but actually there are 3. So this is a much tougher fight. However, you can end it early by simply killing Ivar, who is the weakest enemy here. But he's got these wargs with him, and if we just sort of come up, there's no real danger here, because none of them should go past the leopard this time. So let's come up and have a look. And there's a third one there. So we'll have a chat. And it says it's too strong. So I'm just going to come up, and we're going to use
Adventures call to them.
Dirge of Doom here instead of
Wrote it like I saw it.
Inspire Competence. So what we get: don't come any closer, don't. How can I stop it? It's too strong, too strong. And Ivar here transforms into this, a level 9 fighter. He's still chaotic good, but he's basically transformed into a werewolf. And the others, 7 and 4, and with the barbarian level, so tough enemies here. And we are just going to take them down with a cat. And I know that sounds a bit silly, but what we want to do
Is over.
is maximize
Do not fall
experience, perhaps, and to the wargs are worth quite a lot of experience, and so we're going to attempt to simply deal with them rather than to kill Ivar straight away. And their chance of hitting are very, very low, but they are still tough
Primitives.
enemies. Anyway, let's hope nobody decides to. What's their armor class? So AC 25 is not very difficult. They have a damage reduction 1 because they've got barbarian levels, and we can't see what their to hit is, but it's not enough to be. Ooh, right.
onwards.
Harem, you're gonna end up a bit hurt here. See what we got.
Will they ever learn?
I don't really want to burn through too much in the way of spells, because I have a cunning plan for. They all saved. Oh well.
Away, you rascal!
you're gonna get hurt there, Aaron. See how many more hits they get in. Okay, not so bad.
Stand down.
And like I said, if you want to make the fight easier, you'd simply
You
kill
avenge
Ivar
me.
straight off. And that's enough of that. I need them for later. What's his damage reduction? Oh, it's silver, isn't it? Yeah, so basically we're sort of attritioning him down. There we go. So, Wilf's body shrinks and contorts. The beastly features transform into the face of Ivar, the hunter. There are deep wounds all over his body. Yes, so this is how it finally ends. And the lawful neutral option here is simply to kill him. But we're not going to do that. We're going to find out a bit more. Tell me the truth. And yes, let this be my last fairy tale then. Once upon a time, there lived a stupid young hunter named Ivar. He loved his family, his wife, his son, his little daughter very much. He also loved making up fairy tales for his children. But one night he came up with a foolish story. One about a silver dragon that can only be spotted if you climb to the top of a high cliff as the new moon rises. That very night, the children snuck out of the house and their bodies were found at the base of the cliff the next morning. So, yes, and his wife, Lisa, couldn't bear the heartache. And, yes, this is the key here. Standing near the graves of his family, he could only mutter to himself over and over, "I'm a monster, I'm a monster." Then he felt the self-inflicted curse begin to melt him from the inside, burning him, turning him into a beast. He became a werewolf, swore to protect the village to honor the memory of Lisa and his children. He wanted to serve people, to bring them good instead of evil, at least once. So, not only have we found out what's been alluded to, that the reason the village has been safe since Ivar started communing with the so-called Silver Dragon is that he's been transformed into a werewolf and he's been protecting the village. If you remember when we went to see the bandits in the cave who dredged the Cyclops out, they referred to a beast or a monster, and that was Ivar, who had been attempting to deal with them as well. And of course the reference to the wolves stopping attacking the cattle, that refers to him too. But the additional thing is that he cursed himself. That this is another example of the overarching theme of the region being cursed, and curses coming true. That by muttering this curse to himself, he actually had it was fulfilled upon him, and he was transformed into a werewolf through the power of his own curse. So that doesn't normally happen, but it does happen a lot in the Stolen Lands. So yes, thank you, Jubilus. If you'd called yourself a pig, you'd have grown a snout. It's exactly why it's important enough to always think of yourself in only the best light. And we can just fish for a bit more information. We don't get anything particular. So how did you serve the people? And he indicates that that he's dealt with many of the issues, except for the gang holed up in a nearby cave. I started hunting them, but it seemed I ran out of time to finish the job, and that reiterates what I said previously. And we asked him about the gang, but we already know because we've already killed them. And were I to spare you, what would you do? And he indicates that he'd leave. That's it. And we can ask him nicely if he'd serve us as the Baroness's voice rather than the dragon's voice in this region. But unfortunately, he's not so interested in that. He just wants to leave or be killed. So finally, we're just going to say we're going to let him go. There. And yes, he is grateful for that. Well, Ivar, looks like you tried to do your best, and you were the victim of an extremely unlucky consequences of just telling a story. I don't think you're really to blame for that. Like if somebody had been telling stories to their children, I think they can't be blamed, if those children take that story literally, he probably should have done more preventative stuff. But yes, it just seems like an extremely unlucky chain of events. And yes. Jubilos, that's very rude of you. Anyway, we're going to go. Try to forgive yourself if you can. It's the chaotic good option here. There we go. And yes. And he gives a little bit of instinctual prophecy. I can tell you'll be the subject of stories and legends yourself soon, and I'm sure they'll be told far and wide across the land. Now, whether they'll be tales of terror or of hope, well, that will be up to you. Yeah, thanks, Ivar. It's very nice of you. And a little bit of experience. And Lindsay here is going to tell those tales herself. So, that's it for... Let's make sure we're... There we go. That's it for this particular part of Silverstep Grove. It's just a very small area. However, there is one last thing, which...
No time for idling.
We're going to do some skinning. Which isn't very well known about, and I alluded to this in a previous video, and it's nothing particularly special. Oh, finally we can look here, and if we zoom in, we can see these two graves, and these are clearly the graves of. It's hard to tell. Are these his two children, or are this his two children and his wife? But maybe there should have been 3 graves. Maybe I've missed something there. Anyway, I was saying we're going to return to Silverstep Village for just a moment, because there's one last bit of resolution that's available, and that was the individual who can't remember. Yeah, no, that was the individual who was talking about the silver dragon in the village. And we've now gathered enough evidence that we can go to him and we can say the silver dragon's not real. Feels a bit mean, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm going to disabuse him of his false beliefs here. And that's a long loading time. Yeah, so we can see the Lonely Hunter. It's basically ticked off. So that's quite nice. So let's just return here into the Silverstep Village, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one other thing, because I'd like to make the most of our, being fully rested and having most of our spells left in order to attack and kill a very difficult enemy, which maybe that's showing off to do it without resting between this other stuff, but it's quite a fun enemy, and it's something we can just sort of have a bit of fun with, and it's an example of where tactical combat really does come into the game. Certainly on challenging and above. I wouldn't attempt this fight at this level or unrested and without maybe getting level 9 if it was on hard, and certainly not on unfair. You can just sneak around it to get the good stuff. But with our particular composition, it's perfectly doable, and we'll do that after this. Anyway, Isel here. He's talking to the cat. Anyway, we can do two things. So first of all, we want to tell you something about the fish and this dragon, and we've got these 3 options which I alluded to before. First of all, we can indicate that the fish were jumping ashore not because of the dragon, but because of Nixies and an ancient sarcophagus. And he just says that the Fae lies, and he reiterates that Ivar doesn't lie. Secondly, we know that there was a Cyclops in the sarcophagus, and that caused the strange occurrences. And with its death, the village is now safe. And, yeah. He wants another Cyclops, because he doesn't want to fish. Perhaps understandably, fishing is hard work in, peasant fisher village. And, yes. Jubilos thinks they're not very bright. Stupidity can be infectious. And finally, the scale Ivar gave you came from a wyvern, not a dragon. Of course, we fought the ancient wyvern. And don't misunderstand, Baroness. It's not that I think you're simple, but everyone's been talking about the dragon. Why, you're the only one talking about some wyvern. You really should listen to what people say. It's just common sense, really. That's rude. But finally, and you wouldn't know this unless you flicking through all these dialogues again, or you came here in a different order. But we need to tell him about Ivar. So we want to say, let's talk about this hunter. And we get this additional option that we didn't have before. But we can basically say that Ivar cursed himself and became a werewolf. I spared his life, but I don't think you'll see him around anymore. And, yes. The fish's eyes get watery, and he frowns as he looks down at his feet. But Ivar, he was... Oh, I'll miss him so much. Yes. And then, we get this option. Everything you thought you knew about the dragon proved to be false. Do you still not believe me? And, he has a think. He reassesses his beliefs. And if the scales aren't really dragon scales, and the fish aren't really the dragon's fish, and Ivar isn't the Ivar I knew, I guess that means there might be no dragon at all. And, yeah, you solved everything so neatly. You deserve a gift. Us smart people need to stick together and kind of help each other being smart together. And that's it. There, we get the enormous reward of 2 potions of Fox's Cunning, which are thematically fitting, but perhaps not actually very valuable.
The dangers don't frighten me.
And I'm just going to sell off... oh yes, this one as well. Your suspicions about Ivar weren't unfounded. He wasn't some dragon's messenger. He was a werewolf. And, so a werewolf, that's it. I hope you killed the beast. And we can tell him that we let him live, or we can say how I dealt with him is none of your business. And I'm going to pick this one because brevis is rude. There we go. Anyway, can I see your wares? So we're just going to sell off the pelts that we picked up there. I don't think we've got anything else. Oh, we can... Well, I'm going to sell this shield as well because I don't need a supply of shields +2, light shields +2. I think we've already got at least one. So that really is it. As far as I know, I might have missed something. But that is it for Silverstep. We've finished Lonely Hunter, and that means that if we can get round to claiming Camel Lands, we can also claim Silverstep. And so it's almost two regions for the price of one. So it's advisable to claim Camel Lands before North Nile marches, if that's what you want to do. It's not essential. You can claim them both at the same time. If you've boosted both your loyalty and community, I'm trying to remember now. Too many things to keep track of in this game. Yes. Anyway, now the main thing here is we're going to head back west to the capital to rest up, to complete a couple of things. But first, I want to do my little enjoyable tactical battle here. We're going to head over to bridge over Gudrin River, and we're going to fight a really difficult enemy to get some really good loot. Or I say really difficult enemy, it's not the toughest enemy in the game, but at level 8, not having rested, not having all our spells to hand, although I've tried to conserve as much as possible, and relying a fair bit on, how would you say, on requiring save or die spells to take effect. This is not the easiest battle. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here into the cave. And when I cleared the rest of this map, I indicated that there were 2 hard enemies. This one here and this one here. Now, since we're going to be coming back here a 3rd time, I'll do this the 3rd time. I don't think I can pack both of these in, but it's just making the most of our journey home and having quite a few spells left over to clear this enemy. And obviously you can see all these bones, armor, really does not look very friendly. So let's head on in. So first of all, we're going to do
Adventures are exciting.
our full suite of buffs with some additional ones. So we're actually going to make both Valerie and Harrim large. Even though she's defensive orientated, let's go large. And just to try and help them stay alive if they're targeted, we're going to go blur on all of them. Okay. Next, Valerie, where are you? We've got this cold iron dagger +1. She's going to use that in a rather ludicrous dagger plus tower shield setup.
Anything is possible.
Next, we are going to cast Good Hope. There we go. And Lindsay.
Letting the ink dry.
Next, Harem. We're going to take Shield of Faith. And we're going to Bull Strength both Harem and Valerie. There we go. And Archon's Aura. Just in case we can get it to take effect.
Quiet. I'm thinking.
We're going to shield the cat. Take our mutagen. Cat's Grace on the cat. Yeah, that's right. So that is our 43 AZ. What have I missed? I've missed Buckskin. Fortunately, we've got this one from Melly's... What do you call it? Leather armor. We'll cast Cat's Grace on Lindsay as well. We'll cast Magic Fang. And Acid Maw. I can't remember whether it is going to be of any use here. And then we've got here Protection from Energy Communal. We definitely need that. We need Protection from Fire on the full party. And this is an instance where Resist Energy doesn't really cut it. We need full protection here.
I'm still here.
We are going to... Well, I mean, that's about it. We'll put Owl's Wisdom on Harem. We're going to take Fox's Cunning on Jubilos. And Eagle's Splendor on Alice. And I've actually got 2 more Buckskins. So we're going to Valerie and Harem. Okay. Now, we got 1 Lesser Extend charge left. We're going to just sneak forward. Yeah, and we should see this enormous thing. This Crag Linnorm. We have got a level 16 Chaotic Evil Dragon with Regeneration 10, except Cold Iron, Freedom of Movement, so our crowd control that things like web and stuff aren't going to work. No hold monster. It's worth 1,440 experience points. It's got 296 HP. It's got 38. Basically, this is a monster. And all its saves are high. I mean, even its will save, its lowest one is at 16. Immune to fire. Immune to prone, sleep, paralyzed. So it can't be knocked prone. We can't trip it. Can't be entangled. No difficult terrain. No slowing. No staggering. No immobilizing. So our slow is going to do nothing here. That is a tough enemy. So let's cast up.
Friendship lasts forever.
We want haste. And
I wrote it like I
Lindsay,
saw it.
you can do us a big favor by displacing on the cat. Now what we're going to do now is we are going to spread out.
Yes?
The
Spreading
world
out is
full
good.
of wonder.
Give the order.
Sorry.
What troubles you? A simple smile goes a long way. Adventures call to them. I'll take care of it.
So we're wasting our buffs.
And Lindsay was called.
We're going to Dirge of Doom. I don't think it's immune to Shaken, which is good. So, we're going to Dirge of Doom, and actually, we're going to just swap there. And there. Lindsay, you can take that. It's not going to do anything, but yeah. If it's not immune to Shaken, and they shouldn't be, very few enemies are. Nope. So we're good. So,
Just
Lindsay, if you
letting
could
the
Dirge
ink
of
dry.
Doom, there. And we're going to send the cat forward. Okay.
And then our leader charged forward.
Here we go.
Wait for me.
Move there. Move there. Harem, see whether you can get that Archon's Aura to do something. Melee, you are absolutely useless in this fight, so maybe you can roll for crits.
Don't hold back.
Okay. Now, what we're going to hope we can do is we're going to hope we can confuse it, because it is not immune to confuse. And you see it's casting an absolutely horrible spell here. But hopefully it'll cast it on the cat. Just come up a little bit more. And Harem, gonna use some bone shakers.
Waste.
Valerie, I need to make sure it attacks the cat. Yeah, so there it's shaken. So this breath weapon here, it dealt 76 fire damage. It's enormous because the leopard failed its reflex save, which with a roll of 3 against a DC of 30. Fortunately, protection from fire rather than resist fire will give full protection, but it won't last forever. So we need to recast that from Harem here after he's got that bone shaker off, and we can see what it's doing next. So it's confused. That's good. That's really good. Rolled low. DC 28 because we're shaken, but yeah, it's got a high modifier to will. So that means that about 50% of the time we're fine. The other 50% of the time it's still going to do stuff. But, yes, now we actually need to see about doing some damage. So Jubilost, come up here. And I want you to cast Bomber's Eye on yourself. Leopard attack. So we can Bone Shaker it. Done a bit there. So Leopard's hitting on a natural 20 against AC 38. That's alright. We're going to turn off Power Attack because you're never going to hit anything like that. We're going to stay in reserve because we don't want to commit too much, but we can fire some magic missiles just to do a little bit of damage. And now we're going to charge in with our dagger to try and stop its regeneration. Harem, I want you to move up here. And I want you to cast Protection from Fire. And it's attacking the cat. Rolling plus 21 against 46 AC, so that's rolling for 20s on their part. Jubilost, did you cast that? You can attack. And as with most of my fights, we rely almost entirely on Jubilost to do anything in them because it is chaotic evil. So his holy bombs will deal with it, basically. It's still confused though, even if it's attacking the cat. Or let's just double check. Yep. Protection from fire, up. And another bone shaker. Holy bombs for 28. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Lindsay, you should probably be firing as well. It's going to cast another Dragon's Breath, hopefully at the leopard. Bone Shakered for a bit more. Holy Bombed. Breath Weapon again. Failed your reflex save. So that's 85 damage. We're running out of protections here. Got no more protection from energy there. Let's hope we can deal with that last third or so. Is it? I also need to check if it's still confused. Yeah. Right, and Harem, I'm bringing you in. Okay, it's attacking Valerie. It's not the worst thing that could happen, but it might kill her. It's not the worst thing, but anyway, we've got no more things we can fire off. We can't slow it. We can't do much. Still got loads of haste left. It's still confused. Harem, see if you can smack it for anything. Ah, and there we go. Final. Who killed it? Jubilost, obviously, with these holy bombs. I love holy bombs. They're just you know, there's so many other good bombs you can take, but some of the hardest fights in the game, some of them, you know, not all of them, or the majority of them, but some of them, holy bombs is just great. And you can see here, because he's rolling against touch AC, it's only rolling against a 15 with a plus 19 bonus. So yeah, Everyone's gonna hit. I think I cast Bomber's Eye. I had meant to cast a targeted bomb admixture, because that would have meant we'd have been doing an extra +7 damage. But, in the end, this Crag Linnorm is dead. And there's a really nice sort of interesting thing that these Linnorms are meant to be like, you know, consider themselves the original dragons and stuff. I'm not going to roll through that entirely, but yes, true dragons often hold Linnorms in great scorn, and they are evil. I don't know how an entire group of things can be evil, but I guess if they're extra planar, or whatever you call it, from a different plane originally. Yeah, I believe that there's a bit of lore that they originated in the first world, and that one of the eldest, the Fae sort of demigods or sort of pseudo gods, considers itself the patron of Linnorms. And what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to skin it. And I'm going to save, because I might re-roll this, because I want that Crag Linnorm belt. It's worth like 600 gold. So, yeah. Oh, that's a long save period.
I am never wrong.
Anyway,
Like I saw it.
Lindsay, let's see whether we can do this. Nah, it's not worth it. It's too much save scumming required. Basically, there's some really nice loot in the back of here. Some ridiculous loot. So we get Earthbreaker +2, Flaming Earthbreaker +2, I should say. That does a lot of damage if you're an Earthbreaker fan. We get the second part of our Talden set. We've got the Stirrup from the Lonely Barrow. We've now got the Whip. We get this, if we needed it, of Transmutation of Bodily Poisons Part 2. It's another source of the book. Although, of course, since Bokken already sells it, it's quite hard to kill a Crag Linnorm to get it. We get this Extend Metamagic Rod. We've already got a lesser Extend one, but the regular Extend means you can cast spells up to level 6 using it. I love Extend rods because they mean these 1 round per level buffs actually last a reasonable length of time without having to use Extend Metamagic. And we get this ridiculous looking top hat here, Professor's hat. Yes, it's yes, a bit of jokey stuff there. But basically it counts as a bag of holding, allowing you to carry an extra 200 pounds, and contains all masterwork tools possible, and provides the wearer with a +2 competence bonus on all skill checks. And I think we know who we're going to give this to. Lindsay, you're going to spend a lot of time wearing an even stupider looking hat. There you go. Perfect. And we can basically retire the expert's hat. Yeah. I mean, we could wear it, but I think it looks so dopey that I think I'm just gonna leave that for now. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. I think that's a really nice point to end it with the Crag Linnorm fight. You know, obviously, and again, I'm kind of boasting, but I like to do the hard fight at the end. At the end of a long video to show that I haven't just reloaded multiple times and re-recorded the video to get to a point where I can imply that I did it in one, but actually had to restart the video a lot. But yes, that's I love that fight because it really, you see how you spread everyone out and you do the fight in a tactical manner in real time with pause. Obviously, you can do it in turn-based as well, and you might consider that gives you more fine control. But in real time with pause, I feel I've got enough control, even if the timings don't work out quite well. Like Jubilost should have been throwing bombs earlier. I think I had someone, Lindsay, wasn't firing, but then the chance of her hitting was pretty low anyway. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.